Welcome back to another episode of The John, your daily sports dump, where we plunge into the sports world. We are a sports pipeline for breaking news, game recaps, and the hottest takes in the sports industry. So I take care of business, let us flush out the details, and fill you in on what's happening. So take a seat, get comfortable, and make sure you have plenty of TP. It's time to explode the commode. I'm your host, John, and obviously I'm not just by myself today. Who am I joined by?
Mya Wardle.
All right, Maya. So like I was telling you before we started recording, I have my mom ask my guests 2 questions, so I'm going to play the questions into the microphone, and then and then we'll continue with my questions if you didn't hear me.
What advice would you give to younger female athletes who dream of playing at the collegiate level?
I would say, I think my best advice is just when you're finding what you're passionate about. So for me, it was basketball, but for my mom, it was soccer. Whatever it is. Once you find it, go all in.
Okay.
Don't go in, halfway. Don't be some days I'm gonna, work out, other days I'm not. If you're gonna do it, do it all the way, and then you will have no regrets. And, for me, that helped me get to this level, because I'm not, the most athletic in the world.
Yeah.
So, being able to, I went all the way in, and I worked, really, really hard. And so that helped me get to where I'm at.
Yeah. And then I'll play your second question.
And my next question is, what is your go-to comfort meal?
I would have to say, okay, so after being away from home, it's definitely anything my mom cooks.
Yeah.
Or my dad, I definitely missed it. I would say, actually, my dad's, Mexican steak. It's, something my grandpa did, and now he does it, so that's definitely probably...
Okay. So, obviously, this is your sophomore. You transferred in from Eastern Kentucky. So what was the turning point that made transferring from Eastern Kentucky to Bradley, your hometown, you're from Peoria, you went to high school at Peoria, Notre Dame, the right move? Because you didn't have to come, no one was telling you, and I would assume your dad wasn't saying you need to come here. So what made Bradley the right choice for you?
Yeah, I definitely think that a lot of people kind of assumed that I was, probably maybe not coming home, or maybe I for sure was. But, for me, I definitely missed home and missed the community. Mm-hmm. I had an amazing community at Peoria, Notre Dame that really supported me. And when I went away, I definitely realized how special Peoria was. It's a huge basketball city, as you know.
Yeah.
It's basketball is everything here.
Yeah.
So I definitely missed that. And then also I had seen a lot of strides with the Bradley women's basketball team. I obviously still followed. Yeah. Just because I knew some of the girls on the team, and also it's been my school that I've been rooting for forever. And so I saw some really positive strides, and the way they were doing things in their program was something that I saw myself doing, and I aligned with a lot of their standards that they have set. And so I was just, after I talked to Coach Pop, and I really believe in her and what she's doing. And so, I was I would love to come home. And
Yes, that's a perfect segue into my next question. In your commitment post on Instagram, you wrote, "Coming home, let's go to work." What were the emotions when you because obviously when you tell your parents and stuff, that's cool, but I feel going on social media now is just a lot different.
Yeah. It was really exciting for me, because I feel I have a lot to prove, and so I'm really excited to not only prove stuff for myself and whatever, but for the community as well. Just being able to come back and hopefully get some people out to some games, and get Bradley women's basketball back to the winning culture it was. And I definitely think they started to do that last year, and I just hope we're gonna add on to it this year.
And then what conversations stood out to you during the recruiting process with Bradley's coaching staff that sort of because obviously there's other schools recruiting you and stuff, so what had Bradley sort of stick out to you from other schools?
Oh, definitely my conversations with Coach Pop and the staff. I learned that having a really good relationship with your head coach is really important, especially as a point guard. That was something that I was definitely needing, and I just really, when we talked, everything that she was saying that she saw for me and the program, I wanted to be a part of that. And she, they want to win, and the way they go about it and how hard they work and how competitive it is something that is exactly what I needed, and that's how I'm gonna thrive is in a very competitive culture. So it was definitely Coach Pop and her staff, and then obviously the girls. The girls are great.
Yeah. So now we'll kind of get into your freshman year at Eastern Kentucky. What part of the game surprised you the most transitioning from high school basketball to college?
So I always thought, like, okay, I'm going to know exactly what it's like because I have seen it. I've heard my dad talk about it a million times, like, oh, the game is faster and it's way more physical. And I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. But when you get there, it's like, no, you don't. Like, you don't get it. And so definitely the speed of play and how fast you move through things, and also just, like, the physicality. All these girls I had a ton of fifth-year seniors. I played behind 3 fifth-year girls. And it was the best thing for me in my career, looking back on it. And the moment didn't always feel like that, I will say. But when they were kicking my butt at practice, I would be like, this sucks. But then now I'm like, thank goodness I had that opportunity to learn from them and to compete against them because they were off playing overseas professionally. Like, they were really good. And so I definitely value that. But definitely the speed of play and the physicality.
Yeah, that's something, like, when you talk about experience, like, that's what makes, especially, like, because you're at the mid-major level, like, experience is something that, and you even see that in, like, Purdue. Purdue is, like, I think, like, the gold standard for, like, in Houston and, like, men's basketball with, like, having those fifth-year guys, and then they're always one of the best teams. So I think that's a good point that you made. You played in all 32 games. What did consistent minutes and experience teach you? Because usually you'll see people transfer after their freshman year because they didn't play that much, but for you it was kind of different. And we're not saying that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, that's good that you have experience, but that's different. So what did that kind of teach you?
Yeah, I think that I learned my minutes throughout the year, were up and down. And I was not used to that, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I was very used to, like, I knew what I was getting every game, consistency, and when that was kind of taken away from me, it kind of took me back. But then I really learned to be a star in my role. And so I learned how to be a really good role player, which was something, again, that I had not been used to doing. But because of that, it's definitely elevated my game and has allowed me to, like, be a much better point guard and player this year because I learned what it was like to be on the bench and to maybe play 5 minutes a game. And so now coming in, I have, like, a whole new perspective, and it's, like, definitely helped my mentality this year for sure.
Yeah, I think you made a good point. I'm not trying to say, like, it's good that you didn't play as much, but, like, I think it's important because, like, you go, and this is, like, I'm just basing this, like, there's guys in high school who are the best player, college who are the best player, then they get to the professional and they don't touch the floor, and they have to learn that when you're being paid millions of dollars, you're expected to play right away and do all these experience things. So it's kind of good that you're learning it now rather than 4 years, 5 years down the line. So from scoring, distributing, defense, you've shown flashes of basically everything across the board. Which facet of your game are you most excited to elevate this year?
I definitely am excited to elevate my playmaking ability. I think that last year I had a very different role than I think I'm going to have this year, in the sense that when I came in, it was, push the pace and make a wide open three. But this year, the coaches and my teammates have allowed me to have a lot more freedom, a lot more decision making reads, making plays, and with that comes scoring, but mostly just, like, being able to have the ability to be making those decisions. And so I think that's a area of my game that I'm really excited to elevate.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit, the change that college ball was for you. Of the, like, stuff that you struggled with, whether it was the pace, physicality, or, you talked about your role, which one of those have you been sort of working on this offseason to kind of make that the best thing?
Truly, I think it was, like, my mentality and being able to bounce back from things quick. I am extremely hard on myself. I know a lot of athletes say that, but I was kind of immature in the way I went about it because I would be really hard on myself, and I would let that get me down for the rest of practice and the rest of the day. And so having college definitely taught me last year to be able to bounce back and, like, bounce back in the moment. And that's something I've been working on all summer, is even if I have a bad day, just not letting it carry over and, having that shift in your mentality. And in practice, I've been working on one bad play doesn't lead to the next.
That's
and
good,
so I think that's something that I've been really working towards, but it's made me a better leader and just, like, an overall just, like, I've been a lot like happier playing basketball because I'm
That's
not
fair.
so frustrated all the time.
That's fair. So, you talked a little bit about how you're from the area. You went to Peoria Notre Dame. You led them to a 2A state title. You had over 1,400 points and nearly 800 assists. What was your favorite high school memory?
Oh, definitely winning state. It was really fun, but it was a lot of fun for different reasons. Like, obviously winning. I love winning. Winning's my favorite thing ever. But I got to win with an amazing group of girls that I had been playing with for 4 years, something we've been building, and also my sister.
Yeah,
that was
even better.
Was probably the coolest part, I will say, was winning with my sister. And also just like that year, there's a lot of outside circumstances like happening, and like we've still found a way to win, and so it made it all the more special and meaningful. So yeah, that was definitely the best memory.
Yeah, and then you didn't just play basketball. You played track, soccer. And how because I played 2 sports in high school, and I think you should play more than just one sport. I think it makes you better in the sport that you're the best at. How do you think your playing multiple sports helped, your core vision, your agility, your mindset, everything like that?
Playing 2 sports was the best thing that's ever happened to me in high school. So soccer was like my other love. I love soccer. And my sophomore year, I didn't play soccer. I did track. And I definitely miss soccer because soccer like allowed me to, do something different. It was obviously very different than basketball. There was a ton of similarities and carryovers though. And it kind of just allowed me to have like a little break, mental break from basketball and kind of like do something different. And I realized like when I came back to soccer my junior year, that's when like I had my best summer of basketball. So it kind of allowed me to do something different, and I just love the competitive side of it, but definitely a lot of the same carryovers, principles, footwork, speed, sprinting. So for me, like playing 2 sports was like the best thing that ever happened to me in high school.
And if I'm not mistaken, do you still have a school record in the 4x400?
We do. We got 3rd at state, so it was pretty fun. Yeah,
and then you had some soccer honors. Out of like all those records that you have in track and you have some soccer ones as well, what's one athletic lesson from these sports that helps you during a tight basketball game or like a tight, intense moment?
Yeah, I would say like the biggest thing I took from all those sports was like at the end of the day, like you have to trust your training and your confidence. And for me, like I was the most confident my last few years of high school because I knew I outworked every single person there. Like I put in a lot of work, so I'm a very confident person, but that like was very rooted in my preparation and how I went about it. And so I definitely learned like in those moments, like in basketball, even in soccer, when I was like it was a big moment, I would just be like, I'm good. Like I put the work in, so like I know I'm good.
Would you ever have like especially in like the state games or stuff, would you ever get nerves or like?
Yes and no. I definitely got way more nervous for basketball, just because I felt like, I don't really know, it was a lot of pressure, but I always really enjoyed that. And playing with my sister actually was like, helped me with that, because I was like, okay, I got to be a good example for her. I don't want her to be stressed. But no, in those big, of course I'm like nervous. I think, if you're not a little bit nervous, like
you don't care.
Maybe you don't care. I don't know, but it was nervous, but it was also just like, I'm so excited, like I finally like have earned the opportunity to play in this type of game.
Yeah, that's definitely awesome. So your dad, obviously everyone here knows him, and your name, you say Wardle, everyone thinks basketball. So what best piece of advice has your dad given you, both as a dad, because obviously he's a dad first and then a coach, so what advice has he given you both as a dad and as a coach? He also played at Marquette, so he's done this as well. So
yeah, my dad is, obviously people know him, but my dad is one of my biggest role models, not just in basketball, but definitely in basketball. Yeah. He was pretty good. But just like in life, the way he carries himself, my dad is who he is every single day. Like, unapologetically himself every single day. Like you see him on the court, in the games, but like that's also how he is like in practice. Like he is not two-faced. He is so real and so honest, and like that's the way I want to carry myself. It's just being like unapologetically myself every single day. You know what you're getting. I'm being very consistent. This is who I am. Because that's definitely him. You know exactly what you're getting every single day. So that's kind of what he taught me, because when you do that, like my dad doesn't have very many regrets in his life, because he's like done everything 100%. So that's definitely what I've, picked up from my dad.
How do you balance being a coach's daughter without letting like the expectations of, because your dad, and this is, we're not saying you don't have big shoes to fill too, but your dad has obviously done a great job. He just got a contract extension, so he's done a really good job here. So how do you kind of balance that with, your expectations of being a basketball player here as well?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I would be dumb to say that coming back home didn't have a little bit of pressure because, everyone knows Wardle. But at the same time, the more I've gotten older and, like, the more mature I've gotten, I've been able to handle it a lot better because I went away and made a name for myself and, like, now I'm Mya. I'm not Coach Wardle's daughter. I'm different. And so coming back and I've had a year away and I'm a little bit older, more mature, I think definitely, like, that doesn't get to me as much as it did in high school. I don't really care because I'm my own person. And I have a coaching staff who, like, believes in me and not just, like, oh, you're Wardle's daughter. Like, I think a lot of people thought, like, coming back, like, that was the mentality. But no, they made it very clear, like, we want you for you. And so that gave me a lot of confidence. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not really worried about that. And also my dad and I, like, as we've gotten older, like, our relationship has gotten, like, so much better. And so, like, we're very much so, like, father-daughter now. Okay. And so it's, like, I never feel like I'm Coach Wardle's daughter anymore. Like, it's just my dad. Like, I see him around school. I'm like, hey, Dad. Hey.
My dad was kind of like that because he coaches water polo in the northern suburbs where I'm from, and his family's, like, my last name is, like, a big water polo swimming last name. So I mean, not to this extent. My dad wasn't, a D1 water polo.
No, you get it.
I get it. So, we talked about this before. I had to make sure because of how many people in your family played college sports. So your family is rich with collegiate athletes across different sports. How does the legacy motivate you to, continue playing as hard as you can and stuff like that? Your dad, your mom, your uncle, your aunt, your uncle, cousins, like, I could go, you see the list on my screen. There's a lot, so.
Yeah, no, our family is super high achievers, super competitive across the board, both sides. And honestly, like, it was the best for me to grow up in because they were amazing examples and they all played different sports. They all were at different levels. And so just, like, learning from them and, being in a competitive family, that, like, competition was something that was very encouraged. And, like, we were encouraged, to be competitive, to want to win, to, like, pour everything we have into what we're passionate about was, like, for me, was the best way to grow up. And, I never felt like I had to live up to anything because of my family's, like, legacy and, like, the success that they've had. But at the same time, I'm like, I have the example, so if I want to do it, like, I can.
Yeah, you have the right people around you. I get that. Now we'll talk a little bit about Bradley basketball. Coach Pop mentioned your skill set will enhance depth, pace, and skill on the roster. How do you envision your role in bringing that energy to the team?
Yeah, I definitely think that my skill set complements a lot of other girls on the team. I definitely like to run. I like to push the pace. I definitely like to up the ball, get it up the court. Also, just, like, defensively too, I'm hoping to bring a lot of energy and, fly around. That's, like, kind of what I want to do, and being able to, make other people better is kind of my goal. I definitely want to be a leader on the team and, set my teammates up for success. And I know if I do that, that's when I'm at my best, and, like, my own success will come with that as well.
Yeah, totally. And then, this has been kind of a point that we've hammered home. How will familiarity with the PR community and at Renco, it's a smaller arena than Carver, so it'll be loud when it's there, give you a unique edge in leading, whether on or off the court?
Yeah, I think it's I am so excited because in high school I actually played at Renco for a game and it was the coolest experience and I was like, oh, this is really fun, and everyone came and it was awesome. But being able to go back at the collegiate level at Bradley, which I've watched my whole life, I'm super excited. I think it's going to be awesome to have that type of support, and I think, if we do what we do and play our game and win, I definitely think people will come out, win or lose, but definitely if we start getting some wins, I think some people will come, and I think they're going to be really surprised about our team this year. I think we're going to definitely shock some people.
Yeah, and that's a perfect segue into my my next question. Last year they started off a little rough, but they finished the season strong. I think they won one game in the Valley Tournament and then lost the next one. So you're walking into a program that's starting to improve. What leadership attitude or trait do you hope to bring to, complement the returning players and also some newcomers?
Yeah, I mean, I've been super fortunate. I've been involved in a lot of winning programs, so I feel like I kind of, have some skill sets that can help us like win, and in the sense of just like making the right play at the right time, and being a leader in that sense, kind of being a calming voice on the court, getting everybody together. That's really big for me, is just communication, being a talker. Hopefully when you see me, I'll be the loudest one out there. Probably will be, but
you got the good gene to do it.
Exactly.
Your dad is
Exactly.
So arena of 10,000, you can hear him. So
you can hear him anywhere. But yeah, no. So definitely just kind of bringing that, and just kind of setting the tone. As a point guard, I feel like that's my job, is to kind of set the tone for the team. So it's kind of what I want to do.
So I texted you earlier about this, being coaching in basketball. Obviously, that's something that your last name is known for here. But with coaching being your long-term goal, in what ways do you already think like a coach when you're making decisions on the court?
Yeah, I actually have had the coolest experience. This past summer, I've coached my sister in AAU, and it was so cool to get to be on the other side of it, have a lot more respect for coaches now. But like learning, sitting there and being a coach and coaching her and her team definitely like taught me a lot about, okay, like in a game, like, okay, like I have to do this differently.
Yeah.
I have to respond to this differently. I see a lot of things, how body language comes across, and I'm like, okay, I gotta make sure I'm not doing that. And so I definitely think like learning that, and also I've seen my dad for years, and like learning from him, like coaching has definitely made me a better player, and I'm excited after I'm done playing to hopefully take everything I've learned and continue being a coach afterwards.
Yeah. So what would a successful sophomore year look like for you? Would it, you can say personal and obviously like for team success as well?
Yeah, I would say team-wise, I think a successful season is, we definitely want to finish a lot better in the Valley. I think that's something that, every team says, but we're not just saying that. Like, I truly do believe, like, that's our goal. And, we set a lot of standards for ourselves. We don't really, we don't say expectations, we say standards, because that's something that we can, like, actually obtain and do.
Exactly.
And so our standards, we're still figuring it out as a team, but I will say our definitely standard is, to win some more games this year, and definitely hopefully make a deeper run in the Missouri Valley Tournament. And personally, I mean, my goal is just to be a star in my role this year. Whatever the team needs me to do that. But just I want to make a lot of winning plays, and, I just want to win. I think that's like the best stat as a point guard is a win, and just just making more winning plays than losing plays for me personally this season, and being a star in my role. I definitely think I can expand upon my role from what it was last year, but just like doing my role every single day and being the most consistent one.
Yeah, and I think also like you may have like a slower start. You may not make as many winning plays in the beginning of the year, but like I was talking to Dietrich about this yesterday as well, like it's gonna get better as you go on. Like you're both considered underclassmen.
Yeah.
You're young. You're gonna learn as the season goes on. That was my last sort of serious question. What's your go-to hype up song before like a game?
Oh my gosh, I don't really like. I listen to music, but sometimes I don't. I'm kind of like some games I don't. I kind of just like chill. Yeah. I talk to people. I think that helps me like stay calm. Because sometimes I'd like listen to music in high school and get like really fired up for what. But now I'm kind of more calm. I just kind of like chill and talk. I'll talk to my coaches, and that helps me stay locked in. I like to read. Okay. So
before a game?
So sometimes I'll read. Whether it's like just like going over our scout, going over whatever last year, that kind of helped me like get focused. But I don't really listen to music anymore before games.
That's it's with all the like athletes that I've interviewed, that's like a first actually.
Yeah.
What's your go-to late night meal during the season? After you come home from a 7:00 game.
Oh man, I don't know what it'll be this year, but like last year, whenever we were going late back in Kentucky, like there was a place called like Cookout. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
No.
and it was up until 4 a.m.
Okay.
And
So yeah.
we would our whole team would get in our cars and we would go, and it was pretty good. But this year, I don't know. I'll have to see, but probably something good because we're all very hungry after games.
And then what's one underrated teammate trait that you crave around you? You know, you talked about winning. Is it leadership, energy, humor, or hustles? I consider hustle hard work, but which one of those, or if you have your own, would you say is the most important to you?
So important to me, like what I can bring.
Yeah.
Definitely my energy.
Okay.
My energy and my hustle. I think again, like it's kind of been ingrained in me a little bit as a point guard. Like it's your job to like set the tone for your team, and so I want to do that by, you know, picking up full court, guarding. Like I want to be that girl. I want to be like a little Nat out there, and I think that kind of like sets the tone for the rest of the team. But yeah, definitely energy, and you know, I try to be very vocal, very positive, very. There's a time and place, but like when I need to be, like I will be like hopefully a really good vocal leader for this team.
Yeah, and then what's one thing you would look in teammates as well? Or would you say it's very overlapping with what you kind of bring?
Yeah, with my teammates, I just love our team this year. Like we're just continuously getting better at just like really communicating with each other. I'm a person that responds really well to direct feedback, and so you know sometimes people, that's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But for me, like if I'm doing something wrong, you know,
just tell me straight
just
up.
tell me
Don't
exactly,
beat around the bush.
exactly,
Yeah.
and you know, especially being new and on a team full of returners.
Yeah,
It's like if I'm doing something wrong in practice, I would just rather be like, hey, like do this because that's how I was raised.
Yeah,
and that's
fair.
you know, I've had my parents have always been that way with me. If I've done something wrong, they'll be like, absolutely not. And so I definitely I really respect my teammates because they've kind of learned that about me, and so when they're very honest with me, I really appreciate it. And you know, my teammates are great, and just continue to get better.
Yeah, totally. Well, Mya, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. Obviously, it's not as busy because the season hasn't started yet. Thanks for today's episode of The John. Join me next time where I'll give you guys more sports talk and hot takes. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss another episode. And thank you, guys.
Don't nobody go in the bathroom for about 35, 45 minutes. Somebody open the window.